Paul. Yeah. This individual, Paul, he was widely known as one of who had taught with preeminent boldness that a way into God's favor was open to the Gentiles, and that this way did not lie through the door of the Jewish law. Yeah. Mm. He had thus roused against himself the bitter enmity of the unfathomable Jewish pride, which was almost as strong in some of those who had professed the faith of Jesus as in the unconverted brethren. He was now approaching a crisis in the long struggle, and the shadow of it has been made to rest upon the mind throughout his journey to Jerusalem. He came ready to die for the name of the Lord Jesus, but he came expressly to prove himself faithful. Yeah. Um, they set up, they set upon him at once and stirred up the people. Yes. Against him there was instantly a great commotion. Paul was dragged out of the temple, the doors of which were immediately shut, and the people, having him in their hands, were going to kill him. Paul was rescued from the violence of the multitude by the Roman officer who made him his own prisoner, causing him to be chained to two soldiers, then proceeded to inquire who he was and what he had done. The inquiry, I just can't really read it right now, only elicited confused outcries, and the chief captain seems to have imagined that the apostle might perhaps be a certain Egyptian pretender who recently stirred up considerable a rising of the people in the account of Acts 21, 34, 40. Tells us with graphic touches how St. Paul obtained leave and opportunity to address the people in a discourse which is related at length. Until the hated words of the mission to the Gentiles had been spoken, the Jews had listened to the speaker. Then they said, "Away with such a fellow from the earth." The multitude now shouted, "It's not fit that he should live." The Roman commander, seeing the tumult that arose, well, concluded that St. Paul, some sort of heinous offense. Carrying him off, he gave orders that he should be forced by scourging to confess his crime. Again, the apostle took advantage of his Roman citizenship to protect himself from such an outrage. The chief captain set him free from the bonds, but on the next day called together the chief priests and Sanhedrin and brought Paul as a prisoner before them. So he had this freedom, yes, that he could use. Now it seems that this state in the United States doesn't recognize the freedom. Yeah. Conspiracy was formed, which the historian relates with singular fullness of detail. More than 40 of the Jews bound themselves under a curse, neither to eat nor drink until they had killed Paul. They were serious about killing him. The plot was discovered, and St. Paul was hurried away from Jerusalem. The chief captain, Claudius Lysias, determined to send him to Caesarea to Felix, the governor procurator of Judea. He therefore put him in charge of a strong guard of soldiers who took him by night as far as Antipatris. From thence a smaller detachment conveyed him into Caesarea. They delivered him up into the hands of the governor. Imprisonment at Caesarea, AD 58-60. St. Paul was henceforth to the end of the period embraced in the Acts, if not to the end of his life, in Roman custody. Oh, the custody was in fact a protection to him, without which he would have fallen victim to the animosity of the Jews. He seems to have been treated throughout with all humanity and consideration. That's so good. They kept him in prison so nobody could kill him. Pouch! The unprincipled governor had good reason to seek to ingratiate himself with the Jews and to please them. He handed over Paul as an untried prisoner. Now, this idea that you're going to ingratiate yourself, yeah. This is a concept when we look at the life of Paul, because I know that he oftentimes mentioned that he was a free Roman citizen. But the sheriffs and police departments decided to go with the dogs, did you? You're upset they're going to get upset. Is there something right now? Oh, the local conspiracy to ingratiate yourself to the dogs because you refuse to acknowledge the laws. Now, as much as I would actually compare myself to Paul, not his spirituality, obviously we were both Christians. He believed in Jesus, and so did I. um, the this proposal, not a very likely one to be accepted, was the occasion of St. Paul's appeal to Caesar. The appeal having been allowed, Festus reflected that he must send with the prisoner a report of the crimes laid against him. Oh, now exactly what crimes did I commit? Oh, well, I wasn't in Swim, Washington, and your traffic complaint right now. Pooch! I'm telling you, I'll sue every fucking